Greetings everyone! Welcome to the Sonic Universe Issue 75 review. Before we get started on this story, I want to address something about the previous arc. The main setting, Isolated Island, is a stage from Knuckles Chaotix, the first one to be exact. If the events of that game happened in the comic, that would explain how the Chaotix got a sling ring from Dr. L. Liddy. I must have had one heck of a brain fart not to see the connection. Thanks Shade Ketchum for pointing this out. And folks, don't be afraid to correct me if I make mistakes. I'm only human. Let's move on. Issue 75 is the third milestone for this series. The first one was the beginning of a story that featured Silver traveling to another dimension using a portal. The second featured how much of a threat Metal Sonic can be. For this one, they decided to combine aspects of the previous milestones. What do I mean by this? You'll see. We start this story with Sonic, Tails, and Bunny chasing down Metal Sonic, who has the final Chaos Emerald. Meanwhile, the Freedom Fighters and Knuckles are aiding the injured Gun Forces, and it is here that we learn that Rouge tipped the heroes to the location of the last Emerald, and that the Gun Forces in the area were attacked by Metal Sonic. Speaking of, Metal Sonic detects a dimensional anomaly called a Genesis Portal and decides to use it as a means of escape. Sonic speeds up to reach Metal Sonic and both go through the portal. Ending up in another dimension, Sonic looks around and spots Silver the Hedgehog. Metal Sonic sucker punches the distracted Sonic and flies off. Silver checks in on Sonic and the Blue Hedgehog says that they must follow Metal. And so we learn what Silver's deal is. He's been locating and closing Genesis portals. Makes sense because, as demonstrated by Sonic and his metal doppelganger, anyone can accidentally enter one and end up in another dimension. Silver points out that many of the portals open up to Sonic's world and time. The two head over to where 3 portals will open up. Along the way, the two have a talk about fixing their problems, with Sonic bringing up the Shattered World Crisis, which he privately admits is partially his fault. A nod to the Worlds Collide ending? Plus, Sonic was trying to get future information out of Silver. But enough of that, the two arrive at their destination. The plan is to ambush Metal Sonic when he arrives, but since Metal was designed to be based on Sonic in almost every way, he's the one that does the ambushing. Silver tries to hold him, but Metal Sonic protects himself with the Black Shield, and wait a minute, did Metal Sonic just say the following line?
It's no use!
Anyway, Sonic kicks the emerald out of Metal's hands and both head down the volcano to try and grab it. When it looks like the emerald's about to fall into the lava, Silver grabs it. So, everyone's exchanging lines today?
You're too slow!
So, Sonic knocks Metal into the lava. Like that's going to destroy Metal Sonic. Actually, Metal Sonic survives thanks to Burst Shield. The 3 Genesis portals open up, and Sonic and Silver force Metal Sonic to chase them. They trick him into entering a portal, and Silver seals it, trapping Metal Sonic in another dimension. Sorry, Metal Sonic, you're gonna be stuck in space for a while. Silver points out the portal that will take Sonic home. Before he leaves, Sonic asks if the world gets fixed. Silver says that if the world does get fixed, everything will be okay. But if things don't get better, he sees Sonic as one to say, screw destiny. The two bid farewell and Silver closes the portal. And is that doubt on Silver's face? Anyway, Silver enters the last portal and ends up in an ice world. But that's a story for another time. Meanwhile, back in Sonic's world, Sally begins this complicated plan to rescue Sonic from another dimension, only for Sonic to plop in a second later. At least he's safe and has the Chaos Emerald. I do like how Sonic's trolling Amy here, which proves even the Sonic fangirl has limits, especially when it comes to hygiene. So yeah, the last Emerald's now in the hands of the heroes, but there are still Gaia temples to locate. Sonic then goes into speech mode, saying that they can handle anything because they are the Freedom Fighters. This is coming from the guy, with Silver's help of course, that got the last Emerald. We cut to Eggman and he's understandably pissed because not only did he lose another Chaos Emerald, but Metal Sonic as well. He orders Orbot to bring him a sandwich. And there's nothing suspicious going on with Orbot here. Nope, not even in the presence of a robot controlling Zeddy. Alright, let's talk about the ending first. It seems Eggman took the time and established his lost hex base during the Shattered World Crisis. He probably did it sometime after the Champions arc. Remember that it was discovered not too long ago. Not to mention that the Deadly Six play a major role in the crossover, so they have to start appearing in the book. If you want to be technical, the Zeddy's first comic appearance was in the Halloween Comic Fest of 2013, another free comic book day. Now, I have heard that this story is going to be canon, and if that's the case, then the events of Eggman recruiting the Deadly Six already happened. We'll see down the line. And of course, Orbot's sinister behavior is more than likely due to Zavok's influence. Now for the rest of this issue. I admit, I was confused about some things like the beginning with Metal Sonic, the Emerald, and Gun, plus the concept of Genesis portals and Silver's mission to close them. The caption boxes point out that you need to read this story and that story to fully understand the content. It's one of the biggest sins in comic books, and the fact that the material needed isn't out yet only adds to the confusion. However, there is enough material in the book itself that you can get an idea of what's going on. Genesis portals are randomly popping up, and they take any person or anything caught in them into other dimensions. I should note that Genesis portals will play a role in the upcoming crossover. We also get to see what Silver's up to these days, closing these portals so nothing good or bad can get through. With his original comic purpose gone and the state of his future unknown within the new reality, you gotta have him do something. I did like how Sonic was unsure if the world would get fixed. We, the audience, know it will, but Sonic doesn't. This line here. I mentioned it earlier, but I will expand on it further. I believe a version of Worlds Collide did happen, but some details might have been changed to accommodate the new universe. And if people are implying that Sonic still remembers the old universe, I heard that ship has long sailed. Metal Sonic in this issue was brutal. Not even lava can keep this thing down. They did manage to get rid of him by tricking him into another dimension, but with the amount of Genesis portals popping up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Metal Sonic appear either in the crossover or sometime afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, the hunt for the Chaos Emeralds are over, with the heroes having 6 and Eggman only having 1. Fun fact, the emerald Eggman has is the blue one, the same one that caused Genesis Wave shenanigans and the first crossover. Tracy Yardley is the artist once again, and I should point out this cool thing with Metal Sonic's eyes. I don't know if it's the artist or the colorist, but I like the LED look here. This issue gets a 7. Part of it's because of the slight confusion at the beginning. Once you get past that, the issue's okay. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. The very next issue is part 1 of Sonic and Megaman Worlds Unite. But for those who don't care about the crossover, the next regular issue will be Sonic Universe 79 in a few months. So folks, until next time, have a good day and be safe.